Hi guys, today I have my update for you on my vegan week. Today is Monday. I officially completed the vegan challenge yesterday, and I just wanted to kind of recap on some things, kind of some different thoughts that I've had along the way, how things went, my final thoughts, and whether I'm going to continue the vegan diet. So let's hop right in and talk a little bit about this past week. So if you didn't see my first video, I will leave a link down below to it. I just decided I wanted to give it a go, try it out for a week and see how things went. And I will say, first of all, I was successful. I didn't eat anything I shouldn't have eaten. Everything went well. I didn't have any breakdowns where I really needed or craved something that wasn't vegan. I think things went really well as far as actually sticking to it is concerned. Now, from other people's experiences that I've read and different blog posts and stuff about other people who have done such a challenge, a lot of people say that they feel way more energetic and feel super awesome, and it's just makes them feel so good. Personally, I don't really feel any different than I did a week ago. Honestly, I really didn't expect to feel much different. I already have been working really hard to include more whole plant foods in my diet anyway, eating stuff like quinoa and chia seeds, oats for breakfast, fruits and vegetables a lot during the day. I've already been doing that, and so really what I was working on was just getting rid of the meat and dairy and stuff like that. So I really didn't expect to feel totally different, but I kind of am disappointed that I don't feel totally different, because from everybody else's experience it just seems like everyone feels super awesome. But I think that's part of the fact that I was already eating so much better than I had been eating in the past, that this extra little step really wasn't that huge of a difference. I did lose 1 pound this week, but I'm also 2 months postpartum and I'm breastfeeding, so that could be part of that too. It's probably not directly related to the diet. And I'm really glad that it was only 1 pound. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be getting enough calories, and I felt like it was going to be a little harder to get enough calories, and so I was kind of afraid of losing too much weight in this week. But to see that it's only 1 pound, I'm really happy with that. That was surprising, but in a good way. Now, this does feel like a diet that I could follow, and I even feel weird calling it a diet because, you think of a diet as something that's helping you lose weight, not necessarily just what you eat. But that's really the definition of a diet. A diet is just what you eat, whether it's a good diet or a specific diet or just the stuff that you eat. It's all just your diet. So it feels weird to call it a vegan diet. It just makes it sound like I'm only doing it to lose weight, which I'm not. So it's, I don't know, it's just kind of the way that our brains have been wired to think of the word diet, but it feels like something that I can actually do. Other diets that I've been on where I'm trying to lose weight and trying to watch my calories and trying to watch my carbs and stuff like that, they just seem so hard to stick to because, if you want a cookie, you really shouldn't have a cookie, but on a vegan diet, as long as you can change your recipe and alter the food to not contain animal products, you can still have the sweet stuff that you want, and so it feels like more of a diet that I could actually stick to long term, because you can still have sweet stuff. You just have to change the way you would make or change the things you would buy as far as sweet stuff is concerned. Now, with that being said, it does kind of feel like learning a completely different cuisine, just thinking about cooking differently and just thinking about your meals differently, and just things that may have come naturally to the way that you would plan out the week's meals or whatever. You just have to kind of rethink everything and how to, delete these things but add in these things so that it's not animal products, and you just have to kind of think a little bit more about what you're doing. But I'm sure that with time it comes a lot easier, but in the beginning here this past week, you just kind of have to analyze what you're going to eat, and you kind of have to plan it ahead a little bit. You can't just snack all the time, because you're going to find something that you want to eat that may or may not be on a vegan item. And I have learned that not everything is off limits. I thought for sure this would be a lot harder. I thought every single thing I read the label on would have an animal product in it. I thought every cracker and cookie and cereal and everything would be not vegan. But I've actually learned that there's a lot more random, regular, everyday stuff that is totally acceptable, that you really wouldn't think would be. And yet it also goes the opposite way too. There are a lot of things where you're like, I'm sure this is good, and yet it has egg in it or milk in it, and you're like, well, what the heck? Like, there's just so many surprising things on both ends. Things that you thought were totally acceptable that actually contain these animal products that they don't really need these animal products. Like, I was at the grocery store and I was looking at croutons and stuff, and I'm like, okay, croutons, that sounds pretty basic. Let's look at these ingredients. Some of them were containing milk and egg, and some of them were just very basic and didn't have any milk and egg, and I'm just like, what exactly is that milk and egg doing? Like, is it really necessary for the crouton, you know, when I can see this bag of croutons doesn't have it, but this bag of croutons does? Like, is it really necessary to have that? Now, I'm not worried about deficiency in any way, like vitamins or protein or anything like that. Before ever even looking into vegetarian or vegan diets, I always, you know, it's in your mind. It's been ingrained in you through the education system that, you know, you can only get calcium from milk and you can only get protein from meat. And it just, I'm no longer worried about that. After watching different YouTube videos and reading different articles and just looking more into the vegan lifestyle, it doesn't worry me at all. Like, I'm taking a regular multivitamin all the time anyway. I'm getting the B12 that I need. That's really the only thing that's even questionable, and that's not even just a vegan thing. That's like an everybody thing. And it's just interesting to have gone, before I even looked into this stuff, I totally thought that, you know, vegans have to be lacking in something. And yet, looking into it for myself, that's just not the case. I almost feel like the vegan diet is a natural progression of human evolution. Like, it's just, we're supposed to be moving this direction. Like, it's just natural, you know? I don't know why. It just feels like such a modern diet, and not modern in like a trendy way, but just modern, like I said, like in an evolutionary way. Like, it just feels right. It just feels like this is the way humanity is supposed to be going. This is how we're going to be able to continue populating this planet. We have to change something dramatically from what we're already doing. And with that, I would say environment is kind of, I don't really know if I have a why, but if anything, I feel most strongly about the environmental aspect of it. Like, just the concept of, we're growing all of these plants to feed these animals so we can eat them, instead of just eating those plants that we were growing in the first place, you know? Like, that just makes sense to me. Like, why don't we just eat those plants instead of feeding them to animals so that they can, you know, convert that into animal meat and protein for us to eat later? And like, how much plants are being wasted on, you know, per animal just so we can eat it when we could have been eating those plants in the first place? Like, it's just, that whole system just is silly to me. You know, the fact that food is so available worldwide because of globalization. We can get fruit from all over the world. We don't just, you know, I live here in Midwest America, and yeah, I can get bananas. There aren't any like banana trees here, you know? Like, I don't want to be replacing our food products with more non-vegan stuff. I'd like to try to find vegan alternatives for everything that we run out of. I'd like to only bring in vegan stuff when we start running out of groceries. When I go to the grocery store, I want to only buy vegan things and bring them here. I just want to use up what we already have and then work on transitioning to a full-time vegan diet. And I'm unsure about my husband, definitely. He still seems very skeptical about the whole thing, but I think he did really well this week. If you want to see each individual day and what we had, I will leave links down below to my blog where I posted every day I also posted on my Instagram, but on my blog, you can see like a breakdown of what we had every day, and that might be kind of helpful for you. That was my biggest concern, was my husband throughout this, but he did really well this week, and I'm actually pretty proud of him. So I did miss cheese a couple times. When we had enchiladas, I kind of missed cheese. We had pizza a couple times, and I didn't miss the cheese on the pizza. I thought the pizzas that we had were really good without cheese on them, but there were just a couple moments where I just kind of wish that cheese would have like made this a little bit better. You know, like I would have a meal and be like, it would have been extra good if I had some cheese on it. So that's kind of sucky, you know. So I did go to the grocery store this week and I bought a bunch of vegan stuff. I bought vegan cheeses and yogurt and other random things, and I do have this week's meal plan out with all vegan stuff for me. I told my husband I would continue to buy meat and cook him meat for our meals, but I told him I really only want to cook meat like once a week. Like I might cook some chicken for you on Monday and you can have it left over on Wednesday and on Friday or whatever in different meals, but I don't want to make like full meals of meat, you know. So we're gonna see how that goes. I might update on that. It's just hard trying to feed a whole household, and our son Calvin, he's 2 and he is literally so picky it's not even funny. I don't even know where we're gonna go with him because it's very, very difficult to get him to even eat like stuff that he actually likes. And some days he just doesn't want to eat anything. Like tonight we had taco salad and I gave him beans and corn and tortilla strips, and I gave him some grapes on the side. He ate all of his grapes but wouldn't freaking touch anything else. So he just drives me crazy sometimes. Him and my husband make it a little bit more difficult. But I do want to continue offering it to him and try to get him to eat real food, but that's a whole nother tangent. We could go on about that one. Toddlers and their food preferences. Now there is one thing that I kind of wonder about my son Eren. He's the little one. He's 2.5 months old right now, and I do kind of wonder if he has like maybe a dairy sensitivity or something, because he has been a kind of colicky, kind of just not a very happy baby, just kind of fussy, and I wonder if a diet change like this would help him out, and I wonder how long that would take to even show up in him. And as we know, babies can just grow out of that kind of stuff too, so it'll be really hard to tell if my diet changed or if he just decided he was done being a fussy baby. So I would like to see if that affects him in any way, but I have been pumping milk, and so I'm technically like 3 weeks ahead in pumping milk, so it would take at least 3 weeks before we would see a difference in him, because he's still drinking my old milk at the grandma's during the week. So I am interested to see if it kind of changes him, but like I said, we're trying to use up all of the products that we already have in the house, and so from here, I might still be having some dairy and whatnot, so I don't know. That's kind of a different tangent, I guess. So overall, I'm really happy with the way things went. I think it was easier than I thought it would be. I've just been kind of viewing food as fuel as opposed to just like craving stuff that I want. Like I just think of food differently, I think, and it just feels more like fuel. It just feels like, okay, let's have some nice leafy greens and some beans and whole wheat bread and seeds and stuff like that. You know, like let's use these whole foods to fuel our body instead of junk and animal stuff. So it's just kind of made me think a little bit differently about what I've been eating. So it's been kind of cool. I do want to continue and hopefully be able to work my way up to like a full-on vegan diet, and then like a vegan lifestyle would be like an even bigger step, you know, like going through all of my makeup and going through all of my, you know, lotions and like stuff like that. That's a big commitment. So we'll see years down the line if that actually comes to fruition. So that's about it for today's video. I will leave a link down below to my blog where I have posted a little bit more in each individual daily things about the meals that we had this week. I do hope to be able to put up videos about different meal plans and how we adjust things to suit my not vegetarian husband and myself, and just kind of talk a little bit more about food and stuff here. So let me know if there are any video ideas in particular that you guys want to see. Thanks so much for all of your support in my first video. I got a lot of really nice comments from you guys, just very helpful stuff about different brands of food and like how you have transitioned and stuff like that. So that was super awesome. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.